Tell me the last time you found yourself in the middle of a crucial negotiation. Negotiation means discussions at which people try to decide or agree something. I'll say that again. Negotiation means discussions at which people try to decide or agree something. If I give you a very pertinent example, the very recent China India dispute was a situation which required negotiation, which required discussion on the table. Now, where is it in your life that you are into negotiations? And once you get aware that yes, you are sitting on that negotiation table quite often, even more often than you think you are, then I'm very sure you would be really interested to see the video through the end. Now let's look at the situations where we are negotiating in our day-to-day lives. When you talk to your boss on your promotions, on your raise, on your rating points, you are negotiating. You are on the discussion table to agree to something. Falls into the definition of negotiation. When you're buying a property, you're negotiating on the price with the owner, you're negotiating on the commissions with the property dealer, you're negotiating on the interest rate with the bank and the other conditions as well. So negotiation is happening in our lives at different points. It's very important that we get straight into the video without further ado. Number one, don't sound super excited. Sounds very weird. If you're getting into a negotiation, you must be putting forward your point. You want an end to be achieved, and then how can you be low energy? No, I'm not saying be low energy. Obviously be energetic, don't be lousy in a negotiation. But what I'm saying is don't be too excited or energetic on your proposition. Because when you do that, you look quite immature. If you see any kind of negotiation between two veterans, they usually talk in a very calm manner, as if it's not a very big deal. It's something that they are very used to, or they have had been into such kind of transactions in the past. They would use specific lingos relating to their profession as if it's a very commonplace thing, and that goes to show, or that gives the vibe to the other person that he's a player, he knows the thing. It's not that he's doing this thing for the first time, so he's very excited, oh my god, such a new world. So always make sure you're not sounding too excited or too high on energy. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you, because I already gave you all the data on which we are making this decision. So I think you would also not deny what I am putting on the table. You have to agree to that. I think you make a point. I think you have all the data with you and it sounds workable. You seem convincing. Fine, I'll make that work. Yes, that brings us to point number 2. Stand tall and pressurize. You understand that once a person who's standing taller to you at some pedestal, he kind of has some kind of a psychological power on you. A commonplace example, judges are always placed on a pedestal in a courtroom and lawyers look up to the judge and then put forward their request. So whenever you're looking up to someone, you kind of get a submissive vibe, and when you look down on someone, you get a superior vibe. If you try to put this thing into perspective in a negotiation, this can win you some brownie points. Have you ever seen yourself talking to a very taller guy or a taller woman and you felt intimidated? Likely you're in a situation where you would agree to what they're saying. And this is not because they have made a very good point, but because it's psychological. When you look up to someone and the person is looking down on you, you are intimidated. So what you can do to be standing taller and pressurizing the person? Number 3, yes once, yes more. What do I mean? Once you get into a line of conversation with a person regarding whatever the subject is, and you get your first set of yeses, the next chance of a yes increases. This is important for a negotiation because once you try to get 1 yes, 2 yes, 3 yes, then the chance of getting a yes to the main question increases. So whenever you are getting into a negotiation, the next time, always start with softer points, the ones which you think then you can get a yes on, and then go on the harder part, wherein it's less likely that he would agree to it on the face of it like that. Next, speak and then shut up. Yes, exactly. If you have already said what you need to say in a negotiation, you have put forward all the points, then adding words to it is not going to make the negotiation strong. It's going to make it weak rather. Because adding words to it is not making it more sweeter for the other person. Give him the time to think. You have put forward your point. Now you cannot just push it down their throat. You will have to respect their right to analyze it and use their judgment and then take a call. Speak without expectation. I'll make you remember the definition of negotiation, which is to get on board, to discuss something, to reach an agreement. And how can you reach an agreement if you only have your end in your mind? You are not thinking about the other person. Negotiation negotiation in itself means win-win. You cannot think of achieving your thing at the expense of the other person. So if you have to make sure that you don't sound like that, don't get in there with that expectation, because once you get in there, that vibe, that mindset is going to flow in words or in your body gestures, and the other person is going to sense it. He just wants his thing done. He's not concerned about what is going to happen with me in this transaction, and then it becomes pure business and a formal transaction. Next, know about inclinations and slip it into conversations. One of my most favorite. Knowing inclination and slipping into conversations. As it sounds, know the inclination of the person towards anything. It may not be related to work. Maybe that person likes nature. Maybe that person likes natural beauty. Maybe that person really likes coffee. Maybe that person has a very strong view about politics. Anything. If you just get to know what inclination this person has towards anything, you get a common ground to talk. Because if you know that the person likes nature, and if you talk about nature, about your personal anecdote, about when you cared about nature, about how you think we should do something for it, then he would jump in and join you in the conversation. So that's a good starting point that you're going to have, which you may not have otherwise if you talk about something that he just doesn't have any idea of, or he's not interested. You know something, make some good use of it. Banter to ease the pressure. Giving out straight answers to straight questions makes the conversation very boring. Although negotiation is a very hard conversation, it is a serious conversation, but at the same time, nobody wants to talk all things serious and reach to a conclusion. What if we spice it up with some humor, some light remarks, and we can do that by doing bantering. Bantering essentially means putting in light references to a hard conversation. So for example, one time somebody asked me that how old are you? Instead of just replying them with telling them I'm 24 or 25, I rather asked, do I look older with the beard? Now understand what's happening. I made a personal remark about myself that I look older with beard, and I got him into making one for me. How old does he think I look? So smoothen the friction, put in some oil, do some bantering. Next, compelling reason to agree. Now, remember again, this is a negotiation. You're putting your point, he's putting his point. It has to be win-win, but you need to sell your point. And how would you sell your point if you don't have a compelling reason for the other person to agree? So, before you get into a negotiation, find that one diamond point that you have, find that one diamond spot. What is the compelling reason I have कि अगर सब कुछ नहीं चला तो ये अस्त्र तो काम करेगा ही करेगा. बहुत compelling reason. Always circle your conversation around that compelling reason, which has a much higher value than the other points you have to make the other person understand why your point makes sense. But not the least, emotional token. We are emotional people, and once we know that we are emotional, make sure you make some good use of this knowledge. Always put some emotions in the conversation. If he's telling something about he's very happy about, if he shares some personal anecdote, smile with him, be happy for him. If he shares some bad experience, feel really bad for him. Show it through your expressions. Reconstruct before you actually be in the situation. उस negotiation में जाने से पहले preempt the questions जो वो बंदा आपसे पूछ सकता है, उसका जवाब तैयार करो. Be totally ready before you get into the moment. Reconstruct it, get someone on board, make him the negotiator, and you get into the conversation. Think about all the dynamics from which the other person could think and put you in a spot.